it's Aisha again. Welcome back to my channel. Today I will be taking you all with me to a little trip, a little day out to the Blue Mountains Botanical Gardens. It was just a wholesome day out between like Christmas and New Year. It was one of those days. It had been super hot in Sydney and we decided to just go away for a little bit, just for the day, and go down to the mountains because it is a lot colder there. I wore like a really thin outfit because I forgot that for some reason, but as you can see, it was super foggy and cold when we went there. We were just driving down and enjoying the view, and also not enjoying the view because of just how foggy it was. It was crazy, but honestly, like, either way it was pretty cool. Like, whether it had been sunny or not, it was just something different. And this is us arriving at the gardens. I was trying to film my fit again, but the man very rudely interrupted. We've been to this garden a few times before, but honestly, I hadn't been here in years. The last time I was here was like back in like early high school, so it had been a while. This is me enjoying a little lunch because bless Packy mums for always bringing the best below wherever we go. The gardens are actually so beautiful. This is my brother being annoying as usual. I was just walking through the gardens and I was like, this would be such a cute wedding venue, and I found out later that it actually is, so that was pretty funny. Every time I tell my brother to like record me, he does not do it right, so remind me to stop doing that. He thinks it's so funny to zoom in, but it's not funny.
I did some of the zooming as well.
After we chilled in the main garden for a little bit, we decided to just go to the little center. This is where I found out that it was a wedding venue. And this is my dad being very interested in a little origami card. So the garden is basically like a little picnic area and then like the information center, and then you go down to like the main garden. Usually you can see so much, but you couldn't today at all just because of how foggy it was. If anyone's ever been down to the Blue Mountains, you know how the views usually are. I'll probably insert a picture for reference. We spent quite a little while just exploring everything the garden had to offer and just how peaceful and nice it was away from what we usually do every day. And then we decided to go a little deeper and go for a little hike. It honestly felt like we were in a little haunted forest. It was pretty cool, actually. This is me again, and my brother's amazing recording skills. Totally not completely terrifying. I loved visiting this garden because not only was it so pleasing and ambient to be in, but it also had such a rich historical background, which was super fascinating to learn about. The European discovery and settlement of the area began in 1804, which makes it already well over 200 years old. but the land has been in care by the native indigenous people for thousands of years before. The European settlers called the area Fern Tree Hill, but it was renamed to Mount Toma, Toma being an indigenous word meaning tree fern. This is my mum contemplating just how strong the tree vine is and if it would be able to support her. I really wanted her to swing on it, but my brother convinced her not to. And then we both remembered Bridge to Terabithia and decided it was probably for the best to leave it alone. Have you not watched Bridge to Terabithia? Damn. Also, in 1912, this area that we're in, the rainforest part of the garden, was under threat. The garden was potentially going to be destroyed, and recognizing the importance of saving the wilderness, a bunch of businessmen came together and purchased 700 acres and basically converted it into a conservation park, which is what it is today. Later, while walking through the park, we totally found a vine that was more suitable for swinging, and it was a little scary, but the vines were super strong, and I truly felt like Tarzan or Jane, I don't know, one of them. A couple of years later, in 1929, was the year that it officially opened and the public could enter. This botanical garden almost closed again in 1934 because like all the Great Depression and stuff like that happened, and the government was building the really famous Sydney Harbour Bridge at the time, and they just couldn't maintain the garden anymore. But luckily they pulled through and people today can still enjoy it. After we finished spending a few hours at the garden, we decided to go on a little drive before going home, and we thought it would be a little bit better and the fog would have calmed down and we could have gone to like a nice lookout or something, but that wasn't the case and it was still very incredibly foggy. And while hoping for a really nice view, these roads are usually like immaculate, but we saw absolutely nothing, and that's okay. Sometimes you need a bit of nothing in your life. We drove down to Katoomba and spent a few hours wandering around the town, and before that we were at this lookout, like I just said, but our hopes and dreams were very much crushed. Actually, it kind of felt like we were in a surreal movie because we were just floating. We were just floating. There was no land, there was no sky. It was a bit crazy. As far as the eye could see, there was just fog. It reminded me of that one Barbie movie, Fairytopia, where they arrive at when they go through the portal to like save Ken and stuff, and then they have to get to the main island and there's just nothing. There's just sky and that's it. That's how it felt like. On days where it's not foggy, I would totally recommend this place, but yeah, not today. If you live nearby though, it's still a pretty cool experience. The city of Katoomba is honestly where most tourists go because the Three Sisters and all that are really nearby. But yeah, we just went down there because it was on the way back to going home. And we always stop there because there is this one little coffee shop right next to the station that we love going to. Even though nobody in my family drinks coffee, but we do love the hot chocolate from there. And yes, here it is. Here is the coffee shop, and my dad and my brother got a hot chocolate, and I got an iced chocolate that for some reason he gave me in a normal hot chocolate cup, but it was delicious nonetheless. And then we went home, and that was the end of our little day out. It doesn't really matter where you go in Sydney. The drives and the roads and the vibes are just really nice and immaculate, and I could do absolutely nothing and I'd still have a great time. So thank you for accompanying me on this not very particularly exciting, but at the same time kind of chill day.